Yeah. Welcome back to the channel. Um, yeah. This is a big move by AMC today. Uh, oh man, AMC is up 45% today. So I'd say that it was a significant move. Um, but let's look into the technicals and see what we think. Um, yeah, so as we talked about on the channel for a long time, let's just talk about some of the things that we've talked about a bunch of times. Obviously, you had the long-term Fibonacci retracement levels that we were watching. You found support in your golden pocket, like we talked about. That 1330 range was kind of like the bottom. If we broke below there and then retested and failed, we would get sent down to like the 1150. We never did that, right? We came down. We held above that 1330 level. We were calling the 1450, but obviously the golden pocket is a golden pocket, right? And then, yeah, so you kind of double bottom there within this larger macro following wedge that we've been watching for a while. You know, you broke out, you retested here for a second, and then you just, yeah, you did what you do when you break out of a falling wedge. You just absolutely rocketed. So yeah, I mean, I'd say that from a fundamental standpoint, the call has been pretty on point so far. As far as this falling wedge as the pattern that we should have been following, in my opinion, as well as the Fibonacci levels that we were watching. And I'm not saying that it's over, but the call was a good call. I'd say so. And I'm not here to pat myself on the back. I'm just showing, like, you can see the fundamental use of technical analysis in a play like AMC and other plays. And that's the point of the channel, to empower retail, give retail the tools to succeed. And you can see how powerful this is, right? All right, so let's get into the technicals as far as what we see happening going forward. What I'll say is I tweeted this at the end of last week. On Friday, and said, look, AMC's weekly chart, and remember, this is the only candle. This candle wasn't here. What a silly weekly candle, though. I said AMC's weekly chart looks bullish AF. Like, there's no, like, to me, and I said, look, it doesn't mean that you're gonna explode Monday, but over the course of the next weeks and months, I do expect, generally speaking, upside to be the trend. Because you had this solidified breakout, this really explosive weekly candle that you closed here. You didn't lose a lot on that wick, and so for me, I'm thinking, like, okay, I mean, even if we come back down and retrace, it doesn't matter, because I think that, generally speaking, this will be the trend, based on my experience with technical analysis. Like, that's just what seems natural. And does that mean that I think that you just squeeze forever from here and, like, you have no red days? Like, like the sort of event that you had in January of 2021 or May to June of 2021, right? Do I think that that's what's going on? It's possible. You could be at the beginning of that for sure. And I mean, to me, the way that you would want to try and figure that out is you look at the volume, right? You look at, okay, what does the volume tell you? Are you making, are you having weaker volume on these bigger pushes up? No, this is an explosive daily volume candle. The most volume that you've had on the daily chart since August 24th. On August 24th, right, you had this price rally up to $47, $48. You had a slight retracement, and then you continued to climb up here. What's going to be important is, if you have this retracement, you don't want to come up here and form this kind of rising wedge kind of thing, where then you can start to chart it in this way, right? Because if that's what happens, then you will see a deeper retracement. Alternatively, if you create this sort of channel from here, right? So, sorry, hold on. You can kind of see how these wedges can easily start to happen, right? But if you start to create this sort of channel here and then you break down there, that's going to be more indicative of there's probably going to be price continuation, okay? And what you want to see, as we've said on the channel for months, is on the days where you have those big volume spikes, you want those days to be green. If you have big volume spikes on red days, it's indicative of more downside. So you have to be careful there, right? Let's look on a lower time frame right quick and just see. Wait, I mean, this is just an absolutely explosive volume. I mean, it's just, there's no, when it's consolidating, right? When you don't have these just giant candles, it's like, you know, bears, that it's just, when it's doing this, it's just the bears are kind of on the sidelines here. They're kind of just waiting to see what's going to happen. You know, I just don't, you see good selling pressure here when you go down to the 15-minute chart here. You could see that there was definitely some sort of whale selling here. I would say that probably, yeah, yeah, you go down in the 1 minute, you can still see it there, right? Let's go. Let's see. What does this look like here? Okay. So, I mean, it is a little wedgy here, okay? I wouldn't say that it's a confirmed rising wedge yet, which is a distribution pattern. But what I will say is you definitely want to see it whenever I think that you can afford to come back down here, consolidate down like this, you know, down into here, even down as low as like 2850. If we pulled like a Fibonacci, we'd be able to get a better level for that. Yeah, I mean, 2750 to me seems a little ambitious. I feel like you're gonna test into the 30s before you do that. Before you go down to 2750. I don't think that that's likely, but whenever you do come up, right, if you swing up like this, you want to break out of the top of this and create like a more aggressive high so that then the trend line doesn't look like a rising wedge anymore and it starts to look more like a channel, right? The channel is where you're going to see that bullish continuation. And as you continue to see a more vertical, right, if you can create a more vertical move like this, then that's how you get those real parabolic moves up, right? And then so then instead of doing like a trend line, you would begin to start, and anytime parabolic moves are really tough, right? But you would start to kind of look at it as this sort of trend line, right? Instead of a regular trend line. Once you get these explosive moves, you want to see these parabolic ramps get held onto. And that's what that's what you've seen in the past with AMC, GME. You know, obviously Bitcoin does this all the time, whatever, in its history. You know, not like, it's just kind of like this, yeah, it's like a parabolic ramp. I'm sure that there's like a math equation that explains this a little bit better. But yeah, so you kind of get these really explosive moves, these really big price swings up, and they follow these parabolas. So, trend lines are more useful for like trying to figure out the consolidation and where the consolidation can take you, and then obviously, if we do get into this parabolic structure, I mean, we are in a pretty, obviously this is a pretty parabolic move here, right? Oh man, that looks like, never mind. Yeah, I mean, you have this pretty good parabola going here. This does not look sustainable to me, even on a even larger move. It looks like it just wants to arc back over, honestly. So I would say that probably you see pullback. I don't think that it's going to be very deep. Like I said, I think you hold $28. Well, let's see. I don't know. I mean, if you look at levels, if you're looking at it from more of a fundamental trader standpoint, like you just look at base levels, that 26 looks pretty good there as like a retest zone. And then obviously, from a Wyckoffean standpoint, this looks very much like Wyckoff accumulation, right? I mean, this is I mean, it's like textbook, right? But remember, you still have to retest. Let me see if that's really what I think. Let me see if I really think that we don't go below 28. Let me change this off of log right quick. I just want to see. Oh, see, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I think that you could do that. You could come down to 26, shake some people out, boom, and then continue to the upside. I do think that the likelihood is that you see bullish continuation here. I mean, like I said, like you want to see what you've seen. You've seen the volume continuation. You've seen the intense selling pressure come in and get kind of rolled back over. This looks like a rally. I mean, I mean, no rally is just gonna go up forever, though. You're gonna let's see if this turns into a wedge if you do it this way. I just want to get an idea, like get in a composite man's head a little bit, try and understand a little bit better what might be trying to transpire here. Yeah, overall, yeah, we'll see. You obviously this isn't a real trend line until we get confirmation that you get sent down from here, because I mean it could. Oh, wrong one. It could be much higher than this, right? And then you create this larger bullish channel. Now this is the ideal situation right here, right? Like where basically what happens is you get you just press right through here. You get up to this $40 range kind of in relative short order. And then so from there, what would be happening is you would have sorry, I'm a little rusty on the computer, dude. I've been using my phone so much. I haven't been on my computer at all lately. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, you press forward here, you create this sort of channel. When you create this sort of channel, you can have really volatile moves within it, but still have that bullish continuation to the upside. That's really what you want to see. You want to see that like healthy, continuous upside, continuous kind of healthy move up, right? Like you don't this isn't a wedge, right? This is like a big channel. I mean, dude, if you look at this comparison though, like, and I'm not trying to cycle theory shit, but like just I'm literally saying like I'm literally saying here, right? If you have this sort of move here where you can maintain it as a channel, and this move is just so much bigger. That's the thing about this entire kind of saga with AMC is that like what I'm kind of saying is uh the thing about this entire thing, like this entire consolidation back here, is that everything is bigger and more dramatic than it was before the June move, right? So like your upward distribution kind of moves, right? Like this are just so much bigger and dramatic. Like the comparative distribution point for that is like this, right? Like here, I'll make it a little bit more accurate for you. If you're right, the local distribution range, the comparative one is this versus this. Like it's so much bigger and so much more dramatic. Everything. If you this versus this, look at how much more time everything is taking, right? To me, and I'm not saying it plays out exactly like this every time because we don't have any history that backs that up, right? You only have this one move here, right? But everything is just taking so much longer. Everything is so much more dramatic. And so that's how you get those really like crazy asinine moves that are just like, whoa, where did that come from? Because it literally just won't even make sense anymore. When you see I'm not doing this to hype people up or whatever, but I'm just saying the comparative size, right? The comparative size of what's occurring in this recent consolidation versus this consolidation is just so much bigger. And what that means is that those moves are going to be that much more dramatic. If you do get that big price swing to the upside, it's going to be much more dramatic than it probably would have if it would have happened back here when we were talking about it in December or November, right? Just because the consolidation is just that much more intense. Now, again, let's bring ourselves back here a little bit. I know you guys see these bars patterns, you see the numbers at the top of the screen, you're getting all hyped up. We have to be realistic here. Understand that None of that is guaranteed. What I'm saying is, if you have an equivalent rally, right, an equivalent size rally, it's going to be much larger and much more dramatic than it was back here. Yeah, I mean, just because this consolidation is just so much more intense, man. Like, it's just so, what's the time frame here? Sorry, guys, being interrupted. All right. So like time to time here, right? What was this? 127 days. And so from here to today has been 300 days. Holy shit. Damn, it's been a long road, guys. Damn, I feel like I know you. Anyway, sorry I'm all over the place. I'm a little jumbled up here. To be honest with you, I'm a little hungover. We went out for the first time last night in a long time. Me and my fiance went to we went and saw Batman. And we didn't have the kids. The kids were getting babysat, so we had a good night. But I'm still a little foggy, if I'm being honest with you. But anyway, yeah, man. Overall, dude, like I feel pretty good about this entire move. You know, like this is one of those situations where you're really getting that explosive, parabolic volatility to the upside that you're kind of looking for, and it's being backed by volume. You know, it's not like it was back here, right? Like when you had these moves were super easy to pick apart, super easy to see, and that's what I kind of became known for, was just calling for more downside after these, these big moves up. Everybody's like, oh, he's always calling for downside, but they just always did the same thing. They always created these little rising wedges that you could see a mile away. And for me, I play both sides of the market normally, and I see those, I go, okay, yeah, I mean, that looks like a put opportunity. I would buy puts there. I wouldn't buy, right? Or if it's Bitcoin, I'd short it. I wouldn't long it, just because you're kind of just creating these wedges over and over and over again. You can't do that here, right? Like you don't have a wedge to draw off of this recent move. It's just not there. Right. So, in conclusion, I'm excited. I think that things look pretty good. That doesn't mean that tomorrow we just continue to blast off and we're fucking $50 or some shit tomorrow. That would be nice. I'm down. But I don't, it's hard to call for. What I would say is, be cautious, manage yourself, right? Like look, I'm gonna be real with you, because I'm the only channel that's willing to do this sort of shit. But what I'll say is, remember last week whenever I made that video talking about the blue ice thing, and I've been fucking joking about it on Twitter and shit lately too, but remember when I talked about the idea of it's stupid to sell, it'd be stupid to sell here at this $15, $50, $16 range, because you're just so close to the bottom here. You've been holding since like $40 at least, maybe $50, maybe even fucking $70. And now you're going to sell because you're seeing other stuff run. It's just very amateur hour, right? All right, let's have a real big boy talk, okay? And I know that people are going to call me a shill for this. Whatever. But this is big boy talk. Okay. Oh, look at this, by the way. Like, look at this move, right? Boom. I mean, a clear rising wedge, right? It's just so obvious. That's not happening right now. It's a thing of beauty, guys. Anyway, not yet. This big boy talk, okay? If you have been diamond balling and buying down here, and you were down on your position, and now you're like really close. You're probably pretty close, regardless of where you entered up here. If you've been buying consistently down here, you're probably pretty close to breaking even here. You might be down, 10, 20, 30%, but if you've been buying down here, you're not down 50, 60% anymore. And so what I'll say here, and even if you haven't been buying down there, what I'll say is, I want people to be, if they're going to be diamond handing then that means that this is an investment. Okay? And what you need to do, if you were fucking underwater down here, I know right now it's very tempting to want to get greedy and want to buy more and, all that stuff. But what I'll tell you is, personally speaking, if I was underwater down here, I don't give a fuck about no ape community, all this, oh, you sell, you're a shill or whatever. For you and your family, if it's the right thing to trim here, right? This is what I was talking about with the blue icing, right? You don't sell when you're consolidating at near the bottom. That's dumb, right? If you want to talk to people about getting out of position, this is the opportunity, right? The parabolic move up, like boom, explosion, 45% day. Now it's like, okay, let me trim. And at least like manage my position size, because maybe I was a little bit overinvested or whatever. Just like protect yourself against risk, at all times. And I'm not trying to tell people sell, buy, hold, nothing. What I'm saying is that, really think about this. Think about where you're at, and think about if I'm wrong and everybody else that's going to say that this thing's going to the fucking moon tomorrow is wrong, and it does go back down to $10. Are you okay with that? Just ask yourself the question. Be honest with yourself. Don't worry about what people on Twitter and YouTube are going to do. I'm not worried about it because I'm a dummy, and I'm going to sit here and do this because I care about you. I care about you, the individual. All you guys that watch the channel, I appreciate you guys so much. I care about y'all. I don't care about, people, oh, he's a shill. You're going to mess up the squeeze, man. Whatever. Look, a few retail traders sell a couple shares, dude, to protect themselves and their families after they were facing big losses, and they get this big fucking explosion. I'm not saying I don't think it can keep going. But what I am saying is, if my position was too big right here, I'd trim it. I've been there before. Okay? Oh, also, trend line to watch. I like off of the 52 top, because I feel like that was like the most significant one. We are facing that right now, okay? So 52, 72, or whatever top, boom, boom. You kind of are getting rejected here. You break here, woo! Man, oh man. And I mean, just as like a secondary thing, you break these two, and things can get real hairy, okay? So I'm not trying to like overexcite people. Again, what I'm saying is, don't be greedy, bruh. The market punishes fear. The market punishes greed. If you're fearful, you're going to get messed up. If you're greedy, you're going to get messed up. That's what's going to happen. Because look, this is what I'll tell you right now. If you're greedy down here at $30 and you're you're holding too large of a position, when it's $100, if that happens, right? If it goes to $100, you're still going to be greedy. So ask yourself, are you being greedy? Right? That's the ultimate question. Think about all the times that you've ever tried to do a trade, or lately I've been messing with FanDuel, like these parlays and stuff like that, and I see it all the time. When I'm talking to my buddies about it all the time, so they're always being greedy, dude. They're always like, "Oh, dude, I really like this one. I'm gonna put a little bit more money in this." You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you gotta have a plan. You have a strategy. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that there are a lot of people that were down here when it was like $13 or whatever. They're like, man, I wish I would have sold at 30, dude. Well, now they're all gonna go, oh man, it's going to the moon. I don't want to sell. I'm not selling, right? So just think about that, okay? Again, I think that there are bluer skies in the future. I do, but I can't guarantee it. And I certainly wouldn't put more money than I'm willing to lose on that. Do you get what I'm saying? Just think about it that way, I don't know. I'm probably going to get called a shill or whatever. It's okay. You guys can hate me or whatever. But hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a good place. I'm coming from a place to help retail. And I know there's gonna be like a bunch of those Twitter guys that are gonna be like, look, this is not what being an ape is about or whatever. But to me, being an ape and this community at large is about empowering retail and making retail better, and making retail have more success in the market. That's what I think the ultimate goal is. And part of being successful in the market is being able to manage your risk and being able to control your emotions, your fear, and your greed. With that being said, hope you have a good rest of your day. I'm going to go to the gym now. And yeah. Later, guys. Appreciate you. I go to the moon. Don't leave so soon. Don't leave so soon. How can I get you? Oh, man.